big families. So there's like this thing with wealthy white Silicon Valley tech people where they believe they need to like spread their superior seed, and they need to repopulate the planet. Like Elon Musk believes this. That's why he's had so many kids. Yeah, they believe that their genetics are superior. What does that sound like? And anyway, this couple came under fire because they smacked one of their toddlers in public in front of the journalist who was interviewing them. Insane. Remember the American couple who's following in the steps of the ultra-rich people who want to repopulate the world with their children? Malcolm and Simone Collins. Ooh. Previously told Business Insider that they're on a mission to have a litter of children because as pronatalists, they want to set the future of our species. Yeah, these are people who shouldn't have kids. I do not think humanity is in a great situation right now, and I think if somebody doesn't fix the problem, we could be gone. Imagine the ego that you must have to believe that your seed, your sperm, is the greatest sperm. That your sperm must sperm all over to save the planet. Like, imagine that that's the thing you think will save the planet. Not putting a stop to endless war, violent imperialism, lack of healthcare, food, clean water. No. No, the key to saving the earth is Malcolm Collins' sperm. This guy. Right here. This guy on the left. The couple has done several interviews with the press in an effort to explain their objectives as a couple and speak on behalf of a burgeoning pronatalist movement. But a recent interview the couple gave to The Guardian is getting a bad reception. The Guardian described a scene when Malcolm Collins slapped one of his toddlers in public after the child knocked the table with his foot and caused it to teeter, almost topple, before it rights itself. Oh, so you mean that... Why is my face so small? Thank you, thank you so much, Jack Strax. It was just like my teeny tiny face. Thank you so much for that, for those 5 gifteds. Bandit D, thank you for the 5 months. So basically, Malcolm Collins slapped his toddler for being a toddler, for being a little human who is not in control of their body because they're learning how to walk. Because they've been alive for 2 seconds and they're learning how to exist in the world. My God. These are the people who believe that they need to repopulate the earth to save it. Immediately, like a reflex, Malcolm hits him in the face. The Guardian's Jenny Kleeman wrote, "It's not a heavy blow, but it's a slap with the palm of his hand direct to his 2-year-old son's face. That's firm enough for me to hear on my voice recorder when I play it back later." And Malcolm has done it in the middle of a public place in front of a journalist who he knows is recording everything. This is the type of guy where if you gave him a slap in the face, he would start sobbing. What a piece of shit. What an actual piece of shit. Oh my God. Do you know, like, to be somebody who slaps a 2-year-old in the face, no reason needed. There's not a like, oh, slapped him. It's bad if you slap the 2-year-old in the face because they were just, running around. No, whatever that 2-year-old has done will never warrant being slapped in the face. That is a monster of a person who would do something like that. You are onto something. Malcolm needs his ass kicked. Keep him humble. Yeah, he needs an ass kicking. He needs a serious ass kicking. Truly. Be like, oh, you like to hit 2-year-olds? You like to slap toddlers in the face? Is the wife wearing the plastic comedy glasses and huge nose? These glasses they look ridiculous. These people are ridiculous. I subscribe to you don't physically hit kids, but a 2-year-old is even wilder. Yeah, that's a baby. 2-year-old. Malcolm Collins resumed his conversation with the stunned reporter after telling his child, I love you, but you gotta be nice in restaurants. No, Toasty, you're gonna get bopped if you do that. Bro, you gotta be nice in restaurants? This is a toddler. This is a toddler that's just learning to walk and use its limbs. Of course, if your child is at a restaurant at that age, they're going to bump into things just like they do at home. It's a 2-year-old. Also bopped? Bopped, you freak. That's a slap. That's assault. That's abuse. Oh my God. Soon afterward, the episode went viral on X, the platform owned by Elon Musk, whom Malcolm Collins was incidentally gushing over moments before striking his toddler. Of course he was. The pro-natalist couple hits their children, one X user said, sharing a screenshot of the article. In an email to Business Insider, Simone Collins said the toddler named Torsten Savage. Oh my God, these people are the fucking worst. They are the worst. Torsten Savage was intentionally acting out and tipping over a table with glassware on top of it could be deadly in a house with infants if it were to happen at the couple's Pennsylvania home. He's an incredibly sweet, fucking hate these people. He's an incredibly sweet, smart, analytic kid, but he also has a major rebellious streak and is in the middle of his twos. This is all to say that yes, 100% Torsten was pushing boundaries and not acting unintentionally. Incidents in which we bop our kids are unusual, usually when physical safety is at stake. Please make this make sense. So the logic here is you physically abuse your child because their physical safety is at stake. And also, why are you treating this 2-year-old like they are vindictive, like they are intentionally causing harm in a vindictive adult way when they are 2 years old? They are 2. They're brand new to the world. Yeah, that's what 2-year-olds do, man. That's why you have to keep eyes on them all the time. They grab everything. They'll fall off anything. Like when my brother was that age, and the second we would take our eyes off of him, he would somehow hurt himself. He would like fall off a chair, fall behind the piano. Like he was constantly hurting himself or almost hurting himself if like one eye was taken off him for a moment. Oh my God. Ugh. And the thing too is that these people, this is what they do in public. You know, in private, they're doing worse shit. Kids should accidentally bop themselves, not be bopped by their parents. The fucking word bop makes me want to tear my hair out. Vic7411, thank you for the bits. Steph, thank you for the 16 months. I'm an anti-natalist. For these people, yes. 2-year-olds are constantly doing crazy shit because they're testing out their environment because everything's new to them. Yeah, you don't have to be you don't have to be a child psychologist. Or what's the career that I'm looking for? You don't have to be like, you don't have to have a scientific understanding of how child development specialist. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. You don't have to work in child development to understand that that's what 2-year-olds do. Sarah, thank you for the 7 months. Oh, this just gets worse. Over the phone, Malcolm Collins told Business Insider that he bopped his son on the nose to jar him, not hurt him. Dude, there was a witness there. You slapped him across the face. The couple chose the punishment specifically after observing animal parenting models. You want to know what other things happen in the animal kingdom? They eat their young. Some animal parents eat their young. Animals will leave their injured children if they are deemed too weak. Like, that's the animal kingdom. What the hell? You are modeling parenting off of observing animals? These people are insane. They need to be locked up, truly. Locked up, key thrown away. Their other kids are named Octavian George and Titan Invictus, and little Industry Americus is soon to be born. I'm telling you, these pronatalists, like Elon Musk and these Collins freaks, name their kids the most egregiously awful names. It's all part of this extreme narcissistic worldview that they have. Industry Americus. Oh my God. Malcolm Collins said, basically across the nose is what we aim for. The reason I think it's better than a slap on the wrist is because it doesn't need to be painful to have the same impact. By that, what I mean is when somebody enters the space around your face, it's very shocking and very reorienting, especially if you're in an emotional loop, which is easy for kids to get into. Yeah, you know what happens when you treat kids like that when they're young? It causes them to have scars. I don't mean like literally physical scars. I mean, it scars them mentally. They get things like PTSD. They can develop like mental health issues. It messes them up. It traumatizes them. Yes. And it will traumatize them for their entire life. They are so young, and you are introducing these very abusive, traumatizing methods of parenting with the idea that it will do the opposite of what actually it will do. He added, the only way you could achieve the same effect by hitting a child's wrist is to hit it large enough to cause a significant amount of pain, which I wouldn't want to do, but I can understand why visually people might, oh my God, visually, people might be like, oh, the slight hit on the nose or the face is really bad because it looks visually bad. No, dude, it is fucking bad. Stop trying to act like you slapping your kid across the face, A, isn't just bad regardless, and B, doesn't hurt. He's literally trying to be like, no, a slap across the face isn't painful, so it's okay. The couple both said they found the backlash they faced on social media to be racist. The couple both said they found the backlash they faced on social media to be racist, since they argued Minorities often hit their children without the same backlash. We are kind of shocked by the racism threaded throughout this recent controversy. It's pretty well documented that African Americans and other minority groups practice corporal punishment much more than other groups. Simone Collins said via email, linking to a CNN article published in 2011. Malcolm Malcolm Collins said it was uniquely offensive to him considering the majority of Americans practice some form of corporal punishment, as you can see from the statistics, with specifically that being the minority groups of Americans. So yeah, I think it's an arguably racist position. You know, I think I this is one of those where like I there's let's just take a I know, I have no words either. Yeah, they're arguing this is racism by using this article about African Americans using physical punishment on their children and not to like this is one of those situations where something is true, there being a higher uh there being a like a problem within Black parenthood of hitting kids, and there have been numerous studies done on this, like not saying that this is not true, but to say that Black people don't face backlash for this way of disciplining their children is not true. And there are many, many factors that need to be taken into consideration in understanding why this is something that would be prevalent within Black families, where this comes from. But instead it's speaks to Black people just being animals, right? Like that's what this couple here would believe. Like they believe that they believe that Black people are inferior and like animals, and that's why the Collins need to repopulate this planet with their superior seed. And the reason they cite this, I mean, it's absolutely insane to claim that people who are objecting to you hitting your children are being racist because of this thing that exists, that is a just wildly insane argument to make. Hitting children is bad. Hitting children is bad. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. There being a problem A that exists over here, has nothing to do with the Collins hitting their children. They fall back to this particular study, but not the numerous studies that say hitting children is bad. Seth Angelo, thank you for the 5 months. Samso, thank you for the 11. Like, there is no world in where you justify abusing your 2-year-old. My parents slap me around all the time. I don't know. I don't think that I'm messed up from it. I don't find this that shocking. I think there's a big difference between a hit and a boop. Okay, I'm not going to speak to the way you were raised, or you. I don't know you at all. But you're taking Malcolm Collins' words, where he refers to this as a boop, where it was not a bop, where it was not a bop. It was a slap across the face. This was him intentionally hitting his child as a way of parenting modeled after animals, the way that animals raise their young. He slapped his 2-year-old. Like, what are we doing here? It was loud enough that it was audible in the journalist's recording that she played back later. The article said it was a reflex. He does this all the time. Like, I'm sorry if when you were raised, your parents hit you. I don't think that's right. I fundamentally disagree with treating children that way. And I think that maybe you as an individual somehow escaped the lasting consequences that can come from being treated that way as a child. But there are many, many others who do not. But regardless of your personal experience, this story here with the Collins is not one, like, these are not people that you should be defending. These are never, like, not at all. There is nothing about these people that deserve defending. Especially when this is the way their minds work. Saying that people who are appalled at how they treat their 2-year-old are appalled because they're being racist towards them. The impact of a slap from a full-grown adult on the skull of a developing infant can literally cause permanent brain damage. And I love that he tries to qualify this by being like, oh yeah, well, it's not that hard. Like, Jesus Christ, man, you are a fucking monster. Like, and I guarantee at home, they do this shit plus worse. The child is too young to understand reason. They're not going to understand the reason you hit them. If they're old enough to understand reason, you can reason with them. Don't hit your kids. It's really that simple. It is. Numerous studies have pointed to negative consequences for all children who are spanked, regardless of parents' race, ethnicity, income level, or education level. Kids who are physically punished face higher risk of anxiety and depression. Like, all of this is duh. All of this is like, yeah, no shit. Higher rates of aggression towards others and a more distant relationship with their parents. Those risks are in addition to the risk of injury from parents who cross the line from a hard smack on a behind, still damaging, researchers said, to abuse that leaves children bruised or bleeding. Dr. Alvin Poussin, a Harvard Medical School psychiatrist who has studied mental health issues and parenting in African American communities, is a leading voice against corporal punishment. It's an uphill battle. It's culturally embedded in America that spanking is a legitimate and good way to discipline children. But the fact is, nearly all studies, except for a few, say it's not a good way of disciplining and can actually produce damage. We have such damage in the Black community when you add to that parents beating their kids. It's sending the message that violence is an okay way to solve problems. Nevertheless, Poussin said, questioning corporal punishment can provoke a defensive or angry reaction from parents. Usually some people stand up and say, well, I was beaten as a kid and turned out pretty well. Well, did they? Poussin said. If you dig more deeply, you don't really know that. Beating may have left scars in them that they don't really understand. More parents must realize that parents need to use discipline in a way that gives kids skills for handling conflict in the future. Negotiation, respect of authority, and courage. Whatever you want your future to look like, that's what you need to be rearing and creating in your children's future. These are the people who are going to run the future, and if they're coming up, beaten up, and resentful, that's the way they're going to be when they grow up. Yeah, these people are fucking awful. And just look at them. God damn. I used to be a person that used to say I turned out okay. It took a lot of therapy to realize I was not okay. Yeah, man. There's so much damage that is done to us as we are developing. Like, even if you're raised in a quote unquote good home and you are largely sheltered from a lot of bad things in this world that sadly many children are not able to be sheltered from, we still all have trauma, like all of us in one way or another. And I think getting older is coming to terms with said trauma. And sometimes it pops out at you when you least expect it, and you might not realize that you might not realize that that's what it is. And I don't know. I mean, I think the worst thing that I think the worst thing that someone can do is not break or try to break out of the cycle of trauma. Like, oftentimes, you know, you hear, oh, she's just like her mom, he's just like his dad, but it's in a negative way where it's like, oh, you become your parents. Your parents became their parents. And the pain and the trauma that's just passed generation to generation to generation. It's important, if you have your own kids, to try to try to break out of that. You know? My father was my first bully, and at 25, I'm still trying to heal from it. I would never want another child to grow up knowing that pain. Yeah, it's like we should be, you know, we work to create a better world for our children and our grandchildren and the future generations. And the whole idea is that the world gets better and better and better for all, but we can't do that if we don't break cycles of trauma, if we don't recognize the damage that was done to us so that we don't pass it on to the next generation. My parents grew up getting beaten for getting in trouble. My grandpa had his own belt that had his name engraved in, so whenever my mom or her siblings were whipped with the belt, his name would be on them. My parents came to understanding that they wouldn't want that for their kids. Yeah, like you can and you should make those decisions. Just because something has been one way for a long time, and you were raised that way, and even if you recognize that that was not good, and you don't want to be like your parents, or you don't want to be, whatever it is. But then one day you do find yourself doing the things, enacting trauma upon your own kids like your parents did. Like, one thing I've always said is that if I have kids, look, I get wanting to protect children. We must protect children. But like a lot of families, my family operated in a way where things were kept buried deep down. There's so much pain and so much trauma, and none of it is ever talked about because you just bury it deep and you move on. But that doesn't work. That method doesn't work. It just means that you are carrying around this secret, deep-seated trauma for your whole life, inevitably passing it on to your children. And how many families are like this, where it's like, oh God, yeah, nobody talks in my family, or nobody says anything. Like, I remember one of my friends found out that her sister had cancer, and no one had told her, because they were like, oh, we didn't want to bother you. Like, this is just one example of like families just struggling to I don't know, not do crazy ass shit like keeping it a secret that a family member has cancer. And my friend was really, really upset by it. Like, so upset, of course. Yeah, not wanting to burden the support system. Or like, I don't know. There are some deep secrets in my family, like I'm sure you all have. And I just don't believe that the method of burying them and people just carrying around this secret pain and anger towards one another serves anyone. I don't think it I think it's bad. I think it's not the right way of handling things. My family has hidden terminal illnesses almost as a rule. It's wild. That's so wild. Stop with individualistic culture. Yeah, and what happens too is like the more time that goes by and the more that stuff stays buried deep down, it gets harder and harder to reckon with it. And I remember for a long time wondering, like, why does this family member hate this other family member, like, for no reason? Or they just seem to really lash out at them all the time. And then you find out, like, some secret buried trauma and nobody has talked about it. There's been no attempts to try and reckon with it. So it's just like, all right, just stick this inside and it will obviously deeply affect me for my entire life, but I'll never say a single thing. God, I hope these people become pariahs. I hope they are pariahs. I truly do. They are so awful. Nobody needs their seed. Nobody wants their seed. Keep that seed locked up. They should not get to have any more children. I kind of want to hear the way that they talk. Hold on.
Today I am joined by Malcolm and Simone Collins. They are, I think, first and foremost, parents. They are passionate about education. They are pronatalists, the authors of a very engaging series of books called The Pragmatist's Guide. And they are famously the first people to create the so-called Gattaca babies, the embryo-selected special babies. Welcome.
Hello, we are so excited to be joining you today.
What in the fucking theater kid energy is this shit? Why does he sound like he's about to like do a performance of SpongeBob SquarePants on Broadway? What? What is this?
I'm Malcolm Collins.
Yeah, we're so excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, it is very interesting. I mean, in the preamble to this chat, I said, you know, my audience is kind of, I don't know, heterogeneous on the subject. I mean, I have a lot of people who are interested in fertility technologies, a lot of people who, I think for good reason, have doubts about not only what's possible, but what's why.
I genuinely, how he sounds here.
And they are embryo selected.
Oh, we are
special babies. Welcome.
Hello, we are so excited to be joining you today.
It literally sounds like he's like, "Hi kids, everybody gather round. I can tell you a song about pronatalism. It's spreading my seed around the world so that I have lots of tiny little kids who are just like me. Just like me. And then we'll spread them all over the world." Ah! What's pronatalism, you may ask? Well, pronatalism is when people like me stick their dick in someone like her, and we have lots of kids because of eugenics. Because we think we're superior to everyone. Isn't eugenics bad? Oh, let me tell you about eugenics.
I'm Malcolm Collins.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're so excited. Thank you.
But
Thank you so much for coming on. I mean,
isn't eugenics bad?
It is very
we
interesting.
learned that in school.
In the preamble to this chat, I said, you know, my audience is kind of I don't know, heterogeneous on this.
Yeah, you're totally right. We're way too weird about the way we do everything. So the way it came down for us meeting was
quirky.
I turned 24 and had never really dated anyone before. I mean, people probably thought they were dating me, but I was too autistic to actually realize that. So, whoops.
And so, never kissed anyone, never had sex. That's what she means. Like never went out there.
Completely clueless. So I decided that even though I was going to live alone forever, because that would be
Why is she wearing a winter
that
coat
I would
inside?
first fall in love and have my heart broken so I could say I tried it and it was underwhelming, and you know, then people wouldn't look at me and be so.
God, we know so too many personal things about these people. Too many personal things. We should not know this much about everyone. What's the fucking headline of like we all know too much about each other? Especially them.
You know, weird about it, you know, like, oh, that poor girl has never known love. So I created a scoring system. I created a competitive dating round at my office where, you get points for like first base, date that lasts longer than 5 hours or something, to, motivate me to get out there, because dating is hard. So I was dating
Are they
very
siblings?
heavily. I'd keyword stuffed my OkCupid profile at the time with like sort of know your meme references, because I knew exactly my target audience. I was posing in film grade stormtrooper armor in my photos. So, I knew what I was in for. And Malcolm similarly was on what he
No. How has no one fixed the picture on the right? I can't unsee it.
he would call a high throughput screening kind of campaign.
Marriage Quest. I was trying to do 5 dates a week at least for a period.
I just can't. I hate him. I hate him so much. And hearing his justification for hitting his toddler, and then he and his stupid wife being like, it's racist that people are calling us out for hitting our toddler, because look at all these black people hitting their kids. Isn't this racist? Oh my God. I truly, you guys, I feel like there have been too many examples of really shitty people that I've covered on stream who either are theater kids or give theater kid energy.
Of about 2 years.
And so he told me basically that on our first date. He sat across from me at dinner and he said, well, I'm not really looking to date. I'm looking for a wife, and I expect to find her this fall at Stanford, where there's a large pool of pre-vetted.
Run away! Run away! Anybody, if you ever meet someone like this who says, I'm not looking to date, I'm looking for a wife, and they've got like a whole, they've got the schedule for it. I wanna run away. Anywhere out this place. Run. Run! Des, thank you for the prime.
Candidates. So he made it both clear that he was looking for a wife, that he didn't think that I was that wife, because he was going to get one at Stanford.
Twisted.
And that, he was really honest. And it was the first honest date I ever went on, right?
Okay, I can't listen to much longer.
Like, typically, they probably want to have sex with you, or they have some other thing, but no one ever talks about that. You talk about like anything else but what people are actually there for, which was for me
Hogan, thank
so
you for the
frustrating,
gifted.
because I just wanted to know what people wanted, and I just thought that was great. And Alice thought it was perfect, because that way I thought I could date him, we would break up. I forced him to set a breakup date.
Okay, I'm done. I hate you people. I hate you. Breeding to Save the World is the title here. Breeding to Save the